Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. After a pretty long time, we finally got some real evil editing. And I say some because it wasn't super crunchy, it wasn't super evil, because this episode of Boys to Planet was super rushed. We couldn't even evilize the evil contestants because it was just too rushed. So Mnet gave us only a little bit of an evil edit, but I think it was a proper evil edit this time. And you'll know why I'm calling it that soon. Without further ado, let's just get started. Episode starts and we basically have a section of like trainees training and practicing, and then trainees being tired. And it's like, wow, being a trainee in a survival show is really hard. Who would have thought that? Absolutely everyone. Then we get into plot twist team 1 star, and this has had me curious ever since they had little snippets here and there, because I was like, where are we going with this narrative? What are they going to show us? What are they going to do to Yichin and Liu? And I thought they were going to do a little bit more. I thought they were going to go all out here with angel versus evil editing, but what they did served its purpose entirely. So what happened, you ask me? We had the whole story of why Liu was picked as the killing part. We had it explained. We had Li Jung. It wasn't really like a super okay guys, let's retry it out. It was just Li Jung saying Liu will be a better killing part after showing us that Yichin was missing from practices, that Yichin did a really poor job in the interim check, and basically just evil editing Yichin. And I know some people are going to be like, why do you call it evil editing when he literally missed practice and when he literally did a bad job? And just to make it clear to you guys, my definition of evil editing is them showing any trainee in a bad light. So I know people's definition changes, and some people probably will consider this as them showing the real situation, which is crazy. But anyways, I say evil editing because Mnet picks and chooses what they want to show us, right? For sure, a trainee might be slacking, a trainee might not have done a good job, a trainee might have been bad. That is not what I am contesting here. I'm just saying if Mnet shows us a trainee in an evil light, they're evil editing them, because, for example, Angxing could have done something super bad in his team, for example, and then they could have just cut it all out, They choose what they want to show us. So they look at all the storylines that they could have in a team, be it leader struggling, killing parts struggling, killing parts doing great, people wanting the killing parts, someone not being able to say the right lines, someone being a little unconfident. There's just so many storylines that they could choose. And then if they pick and choose this one, which is let's edit this person in a negative light and portray them in a negative light, I consider it evil editing. Even if it's we're gonna see later, I don't necessarily agree with Zhang Xing's actions. I don't think they're super nice. Do I think they're evil editing him? Yes, because they could have just cut the whole part out. But then where's the entertainment, right? So that's just my kind of definition. And in this situation, I think it's really easy for us to see the techniques that Mnet uses and how they show us what they want to convey and how it comes across. In this specific scenario, what happened was we had Yichin just not coming to practices, or Yichin did a bad job in the interim check, and then we have a reinforcement of Liu did an amazing job and he's practicing all the time. And I obviously won't demerit it to Liu because I think he actually did a pretty good job. But for us to get an idea of this really nice edit that they got to him, how many trainees do you guys think practice outside practice hours? Just Liu? No, because we saw only from the trainees that we saw, we had at least one from each group training outside of practice hours, because in reality they have a week, maybe less than a week to prepare. So most trainees practice outside of the hours, but we don't see all of them. We don't see all of them wow, look at them practicing so hard. That doesn't take away that Liu practiced. It's just for us to keep in mind who Mnet's what. Okay, how many groups did we actually see the interim check? Whereas other groups, we didn't get the trainees' feedback either. They chose to show us the interim check where Yichin was bad because it's added to the story. And it makes sense, obviously, because in the end, what happened is they changed the killing part. And that is a pretty nice story. If they wanted an arc for Yichin, for example, they would have let him explain his side and why he was feeling this way, why he wasn't going to practice, what was going through his mind. But if you notice, there are absolutely zero confession scenes to him. We have a voiceover which he says like, oh, I'm disappointed, but it could be from any point in time. It could be regarding the situation, it could not. But we don't get to see his POV of the situation at all. We don't get an explanation for why he was missing. He doesn't say, oh, I was with diarrhea or hoping someone else, or I was feeling bad that day, I was sick, I just didn't want to see Lee Jong's face. No, he doesn't say anything. We can't really make this super informed decision of whether we agree with Yichin or not, because we don't really get his side of the story. And we're probably gonna get that only when he gets eliminated and eventually does a live talking about everything that happened in detail and stuff like that. So we don't really get to see that other side. Whereas we get a lot of Lee Jong and we get a lot of Liu. Liu doesn't really say much. Liu actually just says, oh, I feel like happy that people are complimenting me, and it's actually kind of cute. And Lee Jong's confession time would have been great if they were doing a look how much of a genius Lee Jong is and how he was such a good leader that he brought his team, his one-star team against all-star team and won. But they didn't do this edit. Instead, they used Lee Jong to like propel Liu, showing how good Liu is, talking about how Liu is. And I had previously thought that the mentors were going to say, oh, have Liu as the center. But no, we didn't have that, since Lee Jong was already all in on Liu. He was really vouching for him. And I think at that point, he already knew that Liu was one of the favorite contestants. I honestly think his plan was pretty good, I must say. Like, he was a visionary. Now, do I think that everything he said was his own opinion? I'm not sure. And then I leave up to you guys, like, the questioning. Do you guys think everything he said was because he wanted to say that and he really like just tunnel vision on him? Or did the producers ask him, or did the producers like instigate him to go through that side? Because when I watched the performance, I thought other people like Arctic could have done a really good job as a center. Sanghyun could have done a really good job as a center. Even Lee Jong would have been a contender for center. So I don't understand his fixation in Liu specifically. And it feels unnatural having that fixation when you had other people on the team that could also bring you similar results, and that would go like head in head with Yeonjun. But like, I cannot say for sure like, no, this was super planned. Like, I cannot say that. Maybe he had the vision and he thought he was gonna win, and he did win. So that is that. With this edit though, I'm pretty certain Liu is a lock-in to the debut line unless something really bad happens. But with his edit plus his popularity, and I think he has enough win picks, I'm pretty certain he's a lock-in. Before the show started, I didn't think he was gonna get like this much screen time. I thought they were gonna focus more on Sanghyun from the duo. And talking about the duo, we had a little moment of them in the performance, and it's just like, they're so smart with it, you know? Like, I need to give credit where credit is due. They gave us moments. They were smart to do it in the Signal song. They were smart or lucky to be in the same group and have this little moment. Like, they're feeding the fans and they know exactly what to do to have fans. But anyways, I felt like the whole thing was a little rushed. Like, okay, we changed killing parts and then boom, let's perform. I thought they were gonna emphasize more Liu, like have other trainees vouch for him and stuff like that, but we didn't have that. And a part that I appreciated from this edit was Lee Jong talking to Yichin and being like, I think I put you like against the wall, I cornered you, like I was expecting too much, and like being harsh, like I'm sorry, and also you're the only C trainee in our group, so I get that it must be hard to blend. And I think that like might have not been a point that we thought about, like when you think about being the only Chinese trainee in the group. But yeah, it's probably hard for Yichin. I'm really curious what was happening for why he wasn't there. Like, what are your guys' guesses? Because my immediate guess was just like, oh, he had to go to the bathroom real bad. He ate something bad and had to go to the bathroom. What do you guys think? Anyways, for this specific group, I thought we were going to have more highlights for Sanghyun, and he didn't really get a lot of screen time. Woojin disappeared completely, and I think it's mostly because of the Wakewon controversy. Like, no Wakewon trainees are being seen right now. They're all getting ghost edited, whereas Sanghyun gets some reactions and stuff, and I don't think he needs much to debut, to be honest, at this point. But Woojin disappearing, Hanum also wasn't there. There was basically no one else in the team apart from Lee Jong and Yichun, to be completely honest. But given that Sunghyun is from Wakwon and Woojin was their preferred main vocalist, I thought we were gonna get something, but I don't know if they gave up on Woojin completely or what, but we didn't see anything about him. Anyways, after the performance, we saw that Plot Twist 1-star won most of the battles except for Jinglong and Hyunjun. We all cheered for Hyunjun and Jinglong. I think some other trainees should have won because I thought overall Team All-Star did better than Team 1-star. But anyways, they won, and in the end, Plot Twist 1-star won overall. So they got the 300k benefits, which was pretty good. Then we had a look into the Rising Sun teams, and both teams had the leader storyline. Rising Sun Team 1 basically didn't get almost any storyline for themselves. It was like really short. We didn't get to see much. But Rising Sun Team 2, which had Donghyun, it was a little rushed as well, but like their team had a better flow of storyline. We had a throwback or a flashback to Hyop after Mnet freaking eliminating him for no real reason. Like, he would have killed it in Rising Sun. I can't believe they like just, oh, look, Hyop left a letter for Donghyun so he can be brave and keep on going. Bruh, he shouldn't have left in first place. I can't believe the sheer audacity of them. I really can't believe it. But anyways, Donghyun never was a leader before, and he wasn't really finding his footing as a leader. The team wasn't really working that well, like they weren't in sync, they couldn't find the formation. So then one day he read the letter. That was really romantic overall. It's such a nice build-up of stuff. Everything was going wrong, but then he read the letter from his fellow eliminated team member, and it was written like, you should survive, something like that, and just like giving him strength. And then he was like, okay, I need to lock in and do this well. And then he locks in, he learns the choreography in one night, he teaches them, they do amazing. And then we have a little part where we focus on the main vocal, Yusen, who was criticized in the interim because he couldn't hit the notes. I missed here a little part where the mentors would be like, oh, don't sing it this way, sing it that way, like giving him tricks. Like, I didn't feel like they had the support, or if they did, it wasn't shown. Like, I missed for both teams, because both teams, we had a little section where they showed like, oh, the main vocal's struggling. Obviously, because it's Rising Sun and it has a freaking really high note. I wish they had shown us like a little bit of support, especially from Hyolyn or any of the other vocal mentors. I miss them saying stuff like, oh, you should like, you know, try sing while sitting in the wall, or put the paper in front of your face and then you can't make it move, or you can make it move. I don't remember. But anyways, we didn't see the judges helping the trainees at all this episode. They reacted a little bit, but even with the reactions, they didn't react that much. So it's like, what is even the point of them being there? Like, I'm sure behind the scenes they do a lot, but I like seeing them being involved, especially like in the interim check, like, okay guys, I was worried about you, do this, do that. And it's just like weird that we didn't have any of that. Anyways, they perform. We have a couple compliments to Waoshi. We have Yusen being complimented despite the notes not really working. Like, in the full cam, the notes does not work, but the way they edited it, it was like it almost worked. So I don't know, it was like a weird edit. I think they realized that it was a really hard song and that they shouldn't have chosen it, and they just gave the main vocalist like a little break. And then Rising Sun Team 1, we had the edit where Donghyun was a leader, a military leader almost, and they did worse than the other group in the feedback thing from the trainees, but they didn't really show them doing badly. They didn't really show them struggling or anything of sorts. It just showed them like practicing and polishing things up. Then we had a little bit of good screen time for Masato, where it was like, oh, look how much he wants to practice. I also thought he was going to get more screen time, but he really didn't. We didn't have any screen time for the center, Juno, or Aoshi in the other team, right? But he is basically the invisible trainee A guy. Like, I didn't even know we had another trainee A member. So that's how invisible he is being by Mnet. So kudos for him for getting the killing part and killing it, but edit-wise, he was invisible. Then we had a part where we see that Hengyu is sick because he strained his vocals, and then we have like some cute interactions between the members, like Donghyun saying like, oh, don't sing, and then Masato offering him honey, which is also positive screen time for him. I thought that was actually really sweet. I think it's actually really cute that they were looking out for Hangyu. And then we had the performance, and again, Hangyu had a voice crack, but they didn't really focus on that, and they said like, oh, he actually hit the note in the end and stuff like that. The judges didn't really comment much on the performances, so I was a little confused. Anyways, then we had the results, and heartbreakingly, Team 2 got almost no votes. I say heartbreakingly because I don't think the difference between both teams was that huge. Sure, Rising Sun Team 1 did a better job, but it's not like Team 2 was bad. But anyways, then it's like a super sad thing where they cry afterwards, and then Donghyun cry as well as the leader, and Yechun cries, like remembering that Yechun, I think if he's not 15, he's like 16. Like they're children, you know, basically. They all cry, and it's like so sad. And overall, it just hurts my heart. That moment was really sad, especially because it's not like, I don't think they did a bad job at all. Like, could have they done a little bit better? Yes, the main vocalist, but everyone else did a pretty good job from Team 2. I don't feel like it felt wrong because I understand why people would vote for the other team and the other guys. But out of everyone, the one person I think should have won is Aoshi because that man carried the performance. He was really good. Then we have Kill the Romeo. And Kill the Romeo is super interesting because we have this team that works super, super well and this team that works just terribly. I think we first get to see the team that goes terribly, which is Team 2. And basically, they have a really bad editing for Zhangxing. Basically, Zhangxing's situation is a little more dramatic. Like, the way that it is shown makes it seem like he doesn't really want to work with the team. And the way that the team perform makes me believe that because they were really disconnected. Basically, he is just overall weird. He doesn't seem to want to practice with the team, but he also doesn't want to be a loser. It seems like he doesn't really want to be part of the show, which honestly I understand. All the Chinese members, I think, went into the show thinking they were going to debut a Chinese group, and then they kind of merged the show. I don't know how much of it was discussed with them after the shows merged, and I don't know how much leeway they have to like go out of the show and leave it. But he said like, oh, I was thinking of leaving the show quite a bit, and then he just doesn't seem to have this great posture overall, which the judges criticized him on, and they're like, this is not what you should be acting. And when it gets into the interim check, the judge asked the one with glasses. I always forget the name from all the judges, but the one with glasses who liked Tere last season, he asked like, oh, is anyone like unhappy about their parts? And then a couple people raised their hands, and Zhangxing does as well. And he asked like, oh, what's wrong? And then Zhangxing just said, oh, like I'm really tired. And then the master's like, we're all tired here. It doesn't say exactly like this. I'm paraphrasing it a bit. So this is how it came off to me. Like, oh, we're all tired here. Like, this is not an excuse. Stuff like that. And I think I agree. Like, all of the trainees there are tired. All the trainees there probably not sleeping well, not eating well, under constant pressure. Does that take away from being tired? No. Does that mean he can't say he's tired? No. His other actions, I do not agree with. But I think being tired is pretty valid under those circumstances. Like, I understand that people would want you, especially the audience, I think watching, we root to the people that are just trying no matter what, who have a lot of determination, who have a lot of passion. I think that intrigues us and that makes us support them. But I don't think you saying, well, I'm tired when you're in a survival show and when you're probably sleeping on those really claustrophobic bunk beds. Like, it does reflect a little badly, but I don't think it should reflect badly. Like, I would complain too, you know? Anyways, we get the interim check and he kind of bombs it as well. So he get a loser sticker because the guy in the other team from his same category. So they do the 1v1s in the interim check, and who was better and who was worse gets a winner versus a loser sticker. And he got a loser sticker, but then he didn't want to put it on, and then he throws the loser sticker. Like, being dramatic. Was that necessary? No. And then the PDs are like, please put your sticker on, you have to put your sticker. And then he's just like, just done with them. And I feel like throwing the sticker is a bit too much. If you're not happy with the show, leave. But at the same time, I think it's a little funny because I know for sure that like the the staff and the PGs are not super nice, and the show like stuff, it's not super nice. So someone doing that and being brave enough to be like, I don't want to do that, it's kind of refreshing to see. But I don't think it's personally right. Anyways, then we have the rehearsal before the performance. So they have their outfits on, but no makeup. And he has this rose and he really wants to use this rose. And then the other guy says they perform. He has the rose and he just like kind of throws it there. And then one of the judges / masters are like, okay, terrible use of the rose. I don't know what you're doing here. It looks terrible. And then he really wants to use the rose, so he asks like another guy who was gonna come after him, like, oh, what do you think about me doing this? What do you think about me doing that? And then the guy's like, well, I prefer if you don't use the rose because my part is right after you, and then it's gonna take the attention off of me, which is valid. And then Zhangxing is like, well, I can choose if I can throw the rose or not, which is also the truth because it's his part of the performance. Should he be mindful? Yes. But you're also on a survival show. So should you think about yourself? Yes. So I think they're both kind of in the right here. Like, I understand both POVs. I do think Zhangxing was a little rude. Like, oh, you killed the vibe with your face. I feel like sorry for the team because as much as I say like, oh, is it wrong for him to say that and stuff like that? Like, it does affect the overall team, how the team does, how the team has chemistry, how cohesive the team is, especially since he had a really important part. He did well in his parts, I think. They said after like, oh, he should have focused more on his singing. I didn't really notice that. He really caught my attention and it showed that he practiced his parts and he gave a lot of thought. But terrible at it overall. I think terrible just vibe, because like it's fine if you have a preference and your preference is to do by yourself, but at least try to work in a team because it's not a solo thing. Like, it is a solo thing, but it's also not a solo thing. So I think wanting the rose, okay. Not listening to your teammates, not practicing with them, not okay. So I understand him. Like, I understand where he comes from. I understand how hard it is being in this situation, but he's just giving Mnet footage. I thought actually that they weren't super evil with him because like he had a lot of confession scenes. So he explained like, oh, I think the creative part is more important. I prefer to do this. I did this because of that. So we get to see a little bit into his perspective. And in the end, well, after Kill the Romeo loses, he also loses. He was like, oh, I'm actually happy that people who never saw me before voted for me. So the fact that I got votes make me happy even though I lost. And I think that's a beautiful mindset to have. But he did look kind of depressed throughout all of the confession scenes. And I just think overall the vibe wasn't there. It's just not the best way for you to act. And I just feel really sorry for the rest of his teammates because I think most, if not all of them, are going to get eliminated. And it's like, wow, your one experience in Boys Planet was like a shitty one. So it's kind of sad. And also, I wanted to see Shou versus Zhangxing for maximum entertainment purposes. So I wanted to see their confrontation, but we didn't have that. And that was that. And then we had Kill the Romeo Team 1, in which we had a really like cohesive team, a really nice team. They all worked really well together. We again got the Zuren and Zihao edits, like not super strong, but it was like Zuren was the leader, and then Zuren was like, I don't think I'm leading this correctly, so like Hui-chan, please take it away from he. And then Zihao was like, yeah, if Zuren agrees with it, then it's fine. And then he says, I really like Zuren, but I don't think he was being really strong as a leader. And then after they change leaders, everything kind of works out. And that's literally it. Like, there is nothing else. It just shows them struggling before they change leaders. And then it has the performance. And then that's basically it. Performance, Hui-chan, beautiful. I also got a little bit of a positive edit, even though like the whole pacing for this team specifically was super fast. Like, I barely remember anything, but we got to see that he tried to get everyone's attention when Zuren wasn't able to. After he got the reins, everything just flowed well, but we didn't really get to see much apart from that. After the points, we see that Kill the Romeo won. I think it makes sense. I think this gap is a lot more reasonable than the Rising Sun because I do think their performance was a lot better than the Red team, though the way that they edited the Red team made it feel like the performance was a lot worse. Like, when I watched it in a full cam, I didn't think it was that bad. So even then, when I ranked it, I gave it like 3 stars because I didn't think it was that bad. But watching the episode, I would say like, oh, that is a certain 2 stars. So for us to see how our minds are kind of controlled by the edits. But regardless, I think they had a pretty big gap, and I think it's understandable that Kill the Romeo blue team or white team had more points because they overall were just better. They were cohesive, and them working well outside of the stage really showed in the stage, especially in comparison to the red team. So yeah, that was basically it for Kill the Romeo. And then we got to the most awaited part, which was Whiplash. We didn't really get anything that we were expecting. Like in the preview, they teased us with this Angshin struggling moment, but what we got was Sungwon being a sad boy and thinking he isn't good enough again. And I swear, if I see this storyline for him once more in the next mission, I'm gonna fucking flip. Can we just be happy? Sungwon, you're good. Be confident. Happy Sungwon next, please. I'm tired already. I understand that he is a person and he has insecurities despite being really good. Like, I get it. I got it from the first time. No need to keep emphasizing it, Mnet. Thank you very much. Sungwon, if you by any chance are listening to this, please be happier. Please be confident. Anyways, the whole plot of Whiplash was basically just that. Like, we didn't have anything else. Like, they made this whole thing like, oh, everyone criticizing Sungwon. And then, guys, okay, and this is the funny part, which I don't know if you guys noticed this or not. But the entire Whiplash team had win stickers, so all of them did a good job. I think maybe Chingyu didn't have a win sticker, but I wasn't able to see. But Sungwon had a win sticker against his killing part counterpart. But the funny part is that apart from them winning and having like this high morale or whatever, during the feedback thing, in Rising Sun team, for example, Yusen was like the worst in every single feedback thing, I think. And then in this one, they were like, oh, who was the best? Angshin was the best. And then who was the worst? Sungwon. One time. And they put it one time because one person wrote that. Because if they had more times, they would have put Sungwon. They put it once. So one person said that he wasn't good enough. And then they ran the whole storyline because of that. And it's like, ugh, they all won. Just let them be happy and move on. But anyways, I don't know also where Angshin's struggle came from, because in the thingy, he was the best. So he also had a win sticker. So I don't know where that went either. I don't know if they like completely edited that. But anyways, that was it for the edits. We had Sungwon being sad and we had the performance. The performance itself didn't have many reactions from the judges and the mentors. And before the performance itself, so in the rehearsal, Kanye was really disappointed in it. She was like, this isn't clean. And then Yumeki cries. And then like they don't even say like, wow, they did a good job. They just say, oh, Sungwon did a good job, which makes me think that the judges didn't really like the presentation that they put on, and understandably so, because it was very underwhelming to what we were expecting. But I think that was curious. Like, we didn't have reactions at all. And not only did we not have any reactions, but they reused a sexy. Like, someone said sexy, I think that the mentor that likes Hiri, but we could only hear his voice. We didn't have his full reaction. I think because maybe he didn't even say that to Whiplash team. But I don't know. Anyways, also talking about reactions, there's this one guy from Team S-Class 1-star that he's in all the reactions possible. I don't know who he is because I forgot to take note of him, but I thought it was funny that in every single performance, we had his reaction. And like, get that screen time, bro. Do those reactions. Most of the reactions were towards Sungwon, to the point that we had like, oh my gosh, I fell for a man. And Harry Jun like grabbing his chair and wanting to like smack him. And we also had some reactions to Yoonmin, which was nice because I was happy about that, because I'm a Yoonmin stan, if you guys don't know, if this is your first time here. So people were happy. Like, I think Yoonmin in the end got the most reaction after Sungwon. I think he actually got the most reactions when the performance was airing. Like, when he started singing, everyone was like, wow. And I don't know if it's to show that he was good or just to take the screen time away from him, because we were focusing on other people's faces. But that's always good. But I think everyone was kind of underwhelmed with the performance, especially the judges. The trainees, not so much. The judges, I felt like they were underwhelmed, because I feel like they saw it just like I did. And I was also underwhelmed. Then we get to see Whiplash Team 1-star, and Team 1-star, their main problem is their killing parts is kind of bad. Honestly, that is not their main problem in general. Their main problem is like everything. But the main problem in the storyline is just the killing parts. And then Rensho says like, oh, I think we need to change the killing part after Daniel does a really poor job in his interim check, and then Rencho tries and Sungbek tries, and both of them get like not good screen time because everything was really rushed, but they get a good like edits where one of the trainees is like, oh, Rencho and Sungbek are really good dancers, they like really helped out a lot, stuff like that. And they try again for the killing part, but Daniel gets it again by orders of Junhyuk, the leader, and thank gosh Junhyuk put Daniel, because the other two, like, did they not understand what Whiplash concept was? Like, they were so aggressive when trying that out, like, especially Rencho. Like, that is not the concept. So Junhyuk chose Daniel despite him doing a really poor job doing the interim check, and that was basically it again. Like, we basically had nothing else for their edit because this episode was rushed AF, and then they performed. Everyone was like, wow, Daniel does such a better job now. Like, how come he was so good here, but he was so bad before? So he had this improvement, but it didn't show him like practicing a lot. It didn't show him practicing by himself. It didn't show people like helping him out. It didn't show him asking help from people. So it was just like underwhelming arc, I think, story-wise. It was just like, okay, this is what happened. So they had a little clash here because the killing part wasn't really that good, but then they fought for the killing part. The killing part remained the same, and then boom, the killing part was beautiful. Anyways, I wish Jae-young had tried out for the killing part because I think he would have done a better job. And then we have the results, and it was like super surprising because One Star actually tied in terms of like win and losses against All-Star, despite All-Star getting more votes overall. The most surprising, I think, was definitely the sub-rapper 2, which was Yoonmin versus Jaehyun, and then Jaehyun won somehow, even though I think he did a worse job than Yoonmin. But I think that was the most surprising to me. Rencho showed his abs, so that's why he won against Yumeki. Even though I hated the abs showing, that's why he won, I assume. And Jinyu, I think, did a better job than Junso in the performance. And Jae-young also did a pretty good job. Like, I understand why who won. And I think the only one I was like, a little bit was Jaehyun, because I didn't think Jaehyun did a good rap. Not that I think Yoonmin was amazing, but rapping in his part, he was definitely better. Like, we had one trainee thinking he was gonna get 5 votes because he was against Sungwon. And then in the edit, it's like, oh, the difference isn't that big. But one got 50 points and the other got 125. Like, I'm sorry, that's more than double. So the difference is quite big. But I think they were expecting more of a difference between both. I also don't think all of them had like 200 points exactly. But anyways, so that was like the main plot twist of the season until now, was just One Star getting stuff. I think from now on, stuff is going to be a lot more predictable because the live audience will know the trainees, or will know more trainees, and who's popular is popular and who's popular is going to win. So it's going to be more predictable from now on. But I thought it was fun that we had this like plot twist. And then in the end, we had like this M countdown vote to which Team Whiplash All-Stars won. And they're going to go to Studio Choom, and they're going to go to M Countdown as well. So that's great for them. And overall, that was the episode. I thought the episode was fun. I think it was better than last episode, which was like dragging the pacing. But this time it was a little bit too fast. I wish they would have like showed me a little bit more. I wanted to see more of the judges specifically. But you know it's bad when Kani didn't even react to Junso. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Please tell me and comment what you guys thought about the Evil edits, what you guys thought about just the overall episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? And if you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!